Crafty Babes. I'm back to share with you week 1 of my 2020 memory planning system. What are we calling it? Weekly memory keeping. I keep forgetting that. I'm calling it that, but when I verbalize it, I am still stuck on the memory planning. I'm calling it weekly memory keeping. Okay, so I am using my brand new Carrie Bradford stamps. She's got these block stamps, block of time, I think is what they're called. They've got days of the week, numbers, months. One of them is a package set, like a 2-piece set. And so I'm trying to make like a kind of like a stacked kind of situation here for week number 1. Trying to figure out the layout that I want. I'm spending a lot more time stamping and doing the setup for this particular layout because I've decided that for some of these weeks, I want a completely blank slate and I want to use stamping and I want my numbers and days of the week to look different than just the standard printed version that like the one that I sell in my shop or the one that I've used for 2019. So sometimes I might print out some weeks that are already pre-printed, but for here and for most of the weeks, I really want to get more use out of my stamps. So what I've decided to do is use my Dymo label maker to type out or stamp out the days of the week. And my idea is to put them in that small space underneath the larger day number. So I've stamped them all out and I think that that's where I'm going to go, but I'm kind of like ADD about this particular page. I'm kind of moving back and forth and doing several different things. But we're getting somewhere. I also updated my template so that I had room at the bottom that didn't have any boxes just so that I could use washi down there. It'll also help me use more washi doing it this way because I want to make sure that I'm using my washi and I'm using my stamps. So I've got a color palette here of red and pink and green and yellow. And so I'm trying to figure out what I want this stamp block to look like. You're going to see me test out a couple of options because right now what I think I want to do is go from like a pink to a red. So I'm thinking, and I'm also doing some testing just so that I can see how the different shades work next to each other. And I'm trying to do like a light pink and then a coral and then a red because those are the colors that are in that Felicity Jane washi tape. But I don't really like the coral next to the red. So I've decided on the brighter pink. It's called Worn Lipstick. And then I'll do Worn Lipstick again for the week. So that it kind of like says week 01, those will be the same color. And then I'll use the Tattered Rose, which is the really light pink for that January. I just felt like those 3 colors really fit together better. And then it kind of is like a little ombre thing going on. Okay, so cleaning stamps, putting them back. This layout has a lot of components, so my desk got really messy and it was very, very difficult to keep things straight. But what I'm doing now is deciding which colors. Oh, that was a thumbs up. I liked the color green that I picked for the numbers. So these numbers are also Carrie Bradford, and I'm doing the 01, 02 because I really like the look of 2 digits next to each other. If you see me rub the stamp on the back of my hand, that is to just kind of season the stamp. These are brand new, and sometimes you can stamp off and then it kind of just seasons them a little bit. Sometimes you can just rub them with a little bit of your like, Susanna used to call it, was it skin funk when she used to do her live streams on Twitch? I forgot what she called it, but anyway, it was fun. It was funny. And mine was not that funny. Okay. So my idea here was that I was going to put these labels right in between those little lines and cover up the bottom of the number that kind of overlapped that top line, and I'm sitting with it for a minute because I do not like it. And so I just thought, okay, let me leave it there for a minute. Let me put my photos together and see if I like it. Spoiler alert, we do not go that route. I felt like it's too dark, too much contrast. So I decided instead to get out my Pebbles Alpha roller stamp. It actually has alphas and numbers. And I am just going to do the first 3 letters of each day of the week. And I'm going to do it in this yellow so that it pulls in some yellow from the washi and it pulls in some of the yellow from a couple of my photos. So basically I've used 3 stamp colors or 5 stamp colors in just this one layout. And that makes me really, really happy. Okay, what's next? I'm probably just going to use those labels for something else, or I won't use them at all. It's not a big deal. So right now, I've got my stuff laid out. I think at this point, I might be searching for a couple of pieces of paper that I think I want to use off camera. So I'll just use this opportunity to tell you, at this point, what you're seeing on the side on the left are a couple things. My, on the top left is a file sorter that's turned on its back. And that's what I was using to kind of store my larger pieces of paper and things I hadn't cut up yet, like the smaller pocket cards. I call them pocket cards, but they're my version of pocket cards. I'm not using that anymore. I'm using more of a stand-up situation. And I have since cut up all of these cards so that they are now in a pile like you would normally keep pocket cards. So I was just really overwhelmed with my supplies, but I really wanted to get week number 1 done. And, so I actually have on my Instagram feed a picture and actually a couple of pictures of my current setup. And one of those things is, if you see on the bottom left corner now, is this looks like a frosted little plastic tray. And I have started using those. They are in the bathroom section at Target. I will see if I can find a link to them. But anyway, they nestle together and they stack, and they are about a 1/2 inch deep. They are perfect for ephemera, and I'm using them to like group things together. It's been really, really awesome. So I just feel a little bit better about my current situation, but you're seeing me in a bit of a mess right now, which is sort of not how I like to work, but we made it happen. So anyway, I've just gone through some of these collections from like Studio Calico and Little Lamb Co. and my own printables from issue number 10 of the magazine. I'm kind of just looking for my color scheme. I'm looking for some greens to pop off that grass. I'm looking for some deeper reds and some lighter pinks, maybe even some browns to go with like the backgrounds. I just feel like these pictures end up being a bit muted. And so I want to make sure that my color scheme and my cards reflect that. Gotta go with some yellow, and always trying to distribute the color evenly. If you've watched any of my process videos, you know that is like my main goal is color distribution. So like when you saw me add that second green card, I moved the green card that was there into a different place so that there's kind of like a triangle of green now with the grass, that plain card, and then the striped card. Oh, and then even in the bottom right, I'm wearing a green shirt. So that kind of stuff is really important to me, to just make sure that it's balanced. So I'm also finding some cards that have white space, places for me to journal, add, dates or information or, embellishments. Just looking through some 3x8s just to see if there's anything I can use to cut up. And my lovely forehead. I think next time I film, I will probably pre-pick my cards. I don't know. I'd like to know. Why don't you guys leave a comment below and let me know what you would prefer to see. Do you like seeing me make decisions. I don't know if that's what you really want to see, or if you don't want to see that. If you don't want to see it, then I'll just pre-plan, and then you'll just see from maybe like this stage. Maybe not this stage, but I'll just have my stuff maybe pre-planned as far as like cards I've picked out, but maybe you can see me put them in action. Let me know. Just shoot me a comment. Let me know. So here what I'm doing is I'm kind of standing back and looking. I'm looking to make sure I feel like things are distributed properly, just to make sure there's not too much dark in too many spaces. Just making sure that the light is distributed. And then I'm just making decisions here. I'm skipping that little roller stamp because it's actually printed on sticker paper and doesn't require glue. And something that two things that I did here that I haven't done before is I used essentially a 3x8 card. I basically used a longer piece of paper to cover 2 boxes vertically. And then I also kind of ripped the top off of that red piece of paper to just add a little bit of interest so that not everything is perfectly square. All right, so we're glued down. This is the part where I've really enjoyed. I love every part of these layouts, but this is kind of like where things start to come alive. I can figure out what I want to journal, where I want embellishments to go. I also get to decorate the top corner, the top left corner. I get to kind of make my big statement title, throw more color around. And this whole mess that you're looking at right now is when I only had one of these trays. I went back after I realized I think I only had 2. And so I was kind of using it as like, this is just all of the stuff I want to use right now. It's just like my current stack of ephemera. And it was super frustrating to like dig through all of that. And so since then I have like 10, I think I have 10 now. So now I have things separated. Like I have only my magazine printables. Then I have only Felicity Jane current kit. And then I have florals. And then I have like larger die cuts, so I've got them kind of separated. That way, things are just easier to find and easier to look through. So again, I'm normally not this messy of a scrapper. So here I am deciding on how I want this little left corner to look. And I'm having fun. These colors are so amazing. I'm so happy that I never used that rubber charm that matches the washi. That floral rubber charm is from Felicity Jane. And it is from the same collection as that washi tape. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so perfect that I didn't use it yet. So basically what I'm doing is I got a piece of washi from my Retro Hip Christmas collection. I hope that you grabbed that while it was in the Illustrated Faith shop because it is now in the vault. So we will not see it again until next Christmas. But anyway, I have that plaid washi and then a little washi strip. It's like a printed, it's a printable on sticker paper. And then next to it is that Felicity Jane floral rubber charm. And then I typed out hello. And then I'm going to stamp January. And the January stamp is also brand new for me from Carrie Bradford. And I have the larger days of the week in her same scripty font, but I needed to grab the smaller version of the months because I don't have a scripty month stamp. And again, I'm going to be using a lot of my stamps, as you can see. And my Stays On really needs to be replaced. I either need to re-ink it or I just need to get a new one because it's getting a little dry. I'm kind of overthinking the extra stamping here. These photos are kind of busy and kind of filling up the frame. And so I think I'm trying a little too hard to stamp on the photos when I really probably should be stamping on the cards and making things out of those, but I don't know. I make decisions on the fly and that's just how it works. So that stamp says it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to reset. And that is, I think, from the Reset Girl, maybe the Camp Reset physical kit. And it fit perfectly in that little extra space between the little colored line and the gray line. And so here I'm just making a checklist of like all the things we did during this last week of our Christmas break and checking them all off. And I think now I'm ready to start working on my title, or what are we calling that? Like the focal corner or something. I'm actually digging into this other dish, which is from the same collection of organizers from Target. It's a little taller and a little deeper, and it holds all of my everyday stamps, like stamps that I don't want to have to go into the stamp set every time and peel it off. These are stamps I'm using all the time. So I grab them and then I just clean them and put them back in the little dish. I'm trying to decide, like, if I need a little label down here or an embellishment or something underneath there. I'm interviewing. And I decide on this yellow baker's twine, and I'm just going to make a little bow out of it, and I think I might staple it. But there needed to be yellow. There just needed to be a little bit more yellow, and I'm really happy with that. Adding in just a couple of extra little elements, trying to figure out where color is missing, where it feels empty. Just kind of trying to fill it in. And yeah, now I'm going to work on this. This is a stamp that says love this season. It is actually from, I think it was the Kelly Perky Christmas, one of her Christmas stamps. And I actually pulled it off of that and kept it in my everyday stamp section because it basically is going to get used for the rest of time because I love all the seasons. I decided to stamp the January in red so that I had like every color in my little scheme here represented up in my focal corner. And then we are about done. There might be a couple extra things that I add at this point, but I'm just going to tidy up and I will show you some photos of close-ups after I add this journaling. So yeah, let me know if you want to see the whole kind of prep thing that I do in the beginning, or if that kind of stuff bugs you and it's not something that you care much about. Anyway, apparently I'm not done. Apparently I need to create a whole brand new tag out of this shipping tag. I don't like the little brown brackety thing that sat on there. So I just kind of used it to make my own tag. And then I'm just going to use this little fresh start seal from issue number 10, add a little heart. We're going to just adhere all of that down. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and let me know if you have any questions, and I will hopefully be sharing many more of these, a little easier to film. These days I got a little bit of a different setup and it makes it a little bit more convenient, and I really enjoy sharing this stuff with you. So I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk soon.